Greetings, and we are live for our today's LinkedIn Live about depression. What are the early signs of depression, and how do we go from signals to solution? I'm your session lead, Dr. Ardeshir Mehran from San Francisco. It's a beautiful cloudy day here. Please put in the chat, where are you joining us today? Great, Atlanta. We have it, Vancouver. Wonderful. Great. Let's see. Good. So I'm going to get Pakistan. This is wonderful. We have a global audience. Always makes me very happy to see a message, a topic like this. This reaches out many people. San Francisco, the individual from Northern California. So let me share the topic today. Boston, wonderful. We have coast to coast right now. So it's a beautiful sunny day in Northern California, and we had the significant heat waves up to several days ago. And what we are doing today, the session today, is about answers and hope. Answers about what is depression. I mean, depression is a topic that does not need introduction. We all know it individually, people in our family, neighbors, loved ones at work. But I want to talk about a different lens of depression that actually, I think you will like it, provide some answers, some clarity, and also why do we get depressed? There's a precision and a structure to depression. Once we know it, we can reverse engineer. And what are the signs of depression, and what can we do to address that? As I share the information here for you, what I encourage you not to do is to make any changes to your treatment plan or to your medication. Anything you want to do, please discuss with your therapist, with your clinician. And if there are questions of importance, sensitive questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to answer them. You have my email and through LinkedIn. And also at the end of the session, I will stay longer and answer questions throughout. And if there are questions, feel free to answer them in the feed, and I will see them and answer them as we go forward. So I want to start with a very telling point, statement by Dr. Gabor Mate, one of my heroes. He's one of the leading influencing figure of modern psychiatry, modern psychology, modern medicine. And he talks about that depression is not a brain flaw or chemical imbalance. Those things happen, but they are not causes. Depression is a searching for a felt sense, for a need that is missing in our life. That's what this session is all about. What is that searching is all about, and what is it we are looking to find in our lives? One thing I want you to take away, if there's one thing you remember, is depression. The opposite of depression is fulfillment. Opposite of depression is fulfillment, not happiness. So let me describe what it looks like. So should you trust me? Yes, because I've done the work. I've did my clinical training at Columbia University, one of the premier schools in the country around psychology and the therapy. Did my clinical training in Bellevue Psychiatric Hospital. And I've been a lifelong learning about understanding and resolving depression. It's been a life passion for me, obsession actually. And it's all started from my childhood. Grew up with a wonderful woman, my mother, most incredible, and was depressed all her life. She was passed on right now, but I always wonder what's wrong with mom, why nothing helps her at all. And answering that question became my quest. What I didn't know, my very first job, you see the picture in that building is in downtown Manhattan, 55th and Madison. Actually, I worked in that building. There's a 35th story, 3 floor from the top, looking this way. And my job was working with corporate executives and on succession planning programs. And I saw from the get-go, I was in my 20s, that many executives, successful gold Rolexes, they had higher level of depression, anxiety, substance abuse, addiction, and so on than the general population. And they look great. They were doing fantastic. They didn't know they are not well, and they didn't want to know that. And I realized there's something going on. There's a reality. We don't discuss it. So I went on a long life pursuit to decode what is going on, why we can be very successful and very internally struggling. And that led to my work that is about the essence of the bill of emotional right, which is what is fulfillment all about. So when you're depressed, you're seeking fulfillment. And I wrote a book that documents that, the research that brings it to the world, and it became an Amazon bestseller. So let's get to the meat of the session today. 3 clients that came to me. The first one, a woman leader, executive, and keep going higher. And this is actually cut and paste from her initial email to me, and said, Ardeshir, I've been dealing with depression all my life, and yet I've been going higher and higher down up the corporate ladder. Do I need therapy? Why? She's been reading my post. She read that. The second individual, a business leader, said that my company is doing a lot of layoffs, which is happening a lot these days, as you know. And I can't sleep. I'm anxious. I just want to be left alone. I'm cranky. And is this depression? The third one is a son of another client. And I said, can you work with my son? And wonderful guy, 22-year-old college student. And said, I just want to be left alone. That, I'm drinking too much on social media all the time, and I'm haggard. So the question is, are these individuals depressed? 3 different scenarios. One is a leader who said, I've got it made. Depression? What depression? I have it figured it out. The next one was, yes, I need help. Can you help me? I'm tired of this. And the third one was, just leave me alone. I don't feel well, but just leave me alone. 3 signs of depression. So what do you do with this? So the earlier question, were they depressed? Yes, they were depressed. But there's more to the story. So what you see here is the information from American Psychiatric Association, which is the playbook globally about the different emotional issues, mental health issues. This is the definition of depression. That depression is when, let me make my screen bigger, that the depression is about persistent feeling of hopelessness, sense of interest, the diminished energy, activities we enjoy, and includes physical symptoms of pain and discomfort. And we have depressed mood, and you know and you felt that. Fatigue is a big one, that you see there's a drop in your energy. And the recurring thought at certain times, with certain prolonged depression, more chronic depression, about the suicidal attempt. If you go online and do a search about the Patient Health Questionnaire, PHQ-9, this is available online for free. You can download a 9-point item survey. It's a 5-point scales on those 9 dimensions, and you can just take survey to see if you are depressed. All the clinicians use that. I use that at a certain point. But this is where the information comes in. You can have this information, be depressed, but that's not the full story. Why? So were they depressed? Actually, depression of those individuals, and when we think about depression, depression is an outcome, is a consequence. Depression is not a cause. Depression is not a cause. If you've been to therapy, if you're a therapist, I know there are a number of clinicians have joined this call. We all know that depression is one of the hardest mental health issues to treat. Why? Because it comes back. It's keep coming back. You can take all the medication, long-term therapy, it comes back. The reason is depression is not a cause, it's a symptom. What those individuals were seeking, all three of them, they wanted freedom. They wanted safety. I just want to be left alone. I want to be doing okay. They were looking for dignity, that I want to feel worthiness. They wanted to be themselves in a very busy world. They wanted to tell their truth and their truth be honored. They wanted choices. They were looking for aliveness, joy, passion, and they were looking for hope. That's what they're after and what they were looking for. So compared to 10 years ago when I was doing therapy, I was going right at trying to heal the depression symptoms. My focus these days working with my clients is helping them to bring these emotions into their lives. So let's go back again. Why wasn't it that obvious to them? The reason is success and resiliency, which makes all of us great in the world of work, in professional world, masks depression. That high functioning individuals, they don't collapse from depression. You don't see the face of depression in the boardroom, in teams, in corporation. People actually overfunction. They do very well. They push through. So what happens once they feel their emotions are numb? They overcharge. I call them thoroughbred horses. That they're feeling numb, they feel running on empty, restless, but they push through. Because the persona of strength, smile, wealth, status, a busy calendar mask the emptiness inside. That's why depression lasts for such a long time. For some people like me, for so long, till I realized it wasn't about how much I tried. There were emptiness and the struggle that I had. So when people come to me, they don't need fixing. They want to get their emotional mojo back again. They want to live in a body that is alive versus a body that is just waiting for the next blow. So what happens? We go off track and push through. So I want to show you two layers stacked on top of each other that mask depression. This is new information for many of you. That earlier signs of depression, and that's why you're here. For me, I don't look at the signs of depression provided by American Psychiatric Association. I look to see how this individual is living his or her life based upon a series of predictable patterns, behavioral lifestyle patterns. I call them 4Ds. The level of emotional deprivation, emotional disconnection, emotional denying, and emotional distraction. So as I'm going through each one of them, I will unpack them. Think about yourself, your emotions right now, or people in your life, and see if these resonate. The very first one, which is actually quite big, is emotional deprivation. Going to that initial client that I mentioned, that business leader, the female business leader, that was her story. That living with unmet emotional, physical, and relational needs. This is a comment from one of my clients. I give everything for my job, my family. I support everyone, but there's no one there for me, and I just push through. So that's symptom of depression, exhaustion, low energy, anxiousness, And joylessness comes from a sense of depression. Your tank is empty and you're pushing through. So I look for those signs if you're depressed. Next one, disassociation. This is about losing touch with one's body, feelings, and relationships and life purposes. The people that come to me, most of them, you see this in men and women differently. For many women, they have gastrointestinal complications, leaky gut, constipation, diarrhea. They just don't feel their body versus a body part. They're not in touch with their bodies. Men is cardiovascular, chest pressure, having a hard time breathing, and having high blood pressure. Is about that they have a lot of angst built up in them. And the feeling, they say, I go through my day on autopilot and I don't even remember the last time I felt truly alive. They are disconnected. They are amazingly high-performing machine, but disconnected from themselves. Then the element of denying. The third individual, that young man, 22-year-old, this is his story. Ignoring, silencing part of the self, anger, sense of grief, or sense of ambition or creativity, or I want something different. And you numb yourself to survive, to fit in. And your sense is that I never let myself get angry. Or if I do, I'll push people away. People will dislike me. So I just swallow it and deal with it. The other sign of depression you want to pay attention to, distraction. This is big. This is big. And we take a lot of detours when uncomfortable emotions come up. We work hard, long hours, addiction, porn, scrolling, and addiction again has multiple dimensions to that. Perfectionism, that we try to get everything right instead of facing the inner truth. The voices inside us says, face this, deal with this. No, I need to work on something. And you know this statement, whenever I feel low, I watch Netflix or I just go shopping, because I'm too exhausted to face it or think about it. So going to the feelings of depression, early feelings, thinking about cause and effect, these are the ones I look forward to and look at them. Because when you see these patterns, you can predict the depressions come up and depression becomes part of the life. And here's the dilemma. Many individuals, there are some of them in my own life, they don't want to admit or face that the fact that they are depressed. They've been depressed for so long. And I don't bring the topic, hey, buddy, you're depressed. I see this. Can I be of help to you? I bring these topics, these 4 Ds that I mentioned, as a way, the quality of the life you have, as a way you're numbing yourself, distracting yourself, denying yourself to be the true life that you need to have. So what is it people, you and I and everyone around us are seeking? What we are seeking are emotional fulfillment. This is a cure for depression. So going to that Gabor Mate when he mentioned, what we are searching are emotional fulfillment that for some reasons in life, we didn't get to experience them. They were violated. They were not available to us. Or what we saw, it was fragment of these 7 emotional needs. And you see behind me the banner, their posters, and my book, and I will talk about them, that these are core to our existence. Once we live in fulfillment, depression is a sideshow versus the main show. So those needs, this is not necessarily linear. The very starting is about need of belonging, that I'm connected. I can be with you. You love me. I love myself, and I can be myself. There's the element of connection. Then there's the element, I am boundless. This is about Being in our body, engaged, being sense of fullness and integrity of mind and body is not about how fit you are. It's about how in touch with our bodies we are. The next one is sense of I am complete, that I feel enough, undeterred, untethered from our past, and less burdened by shame and guilt. Guilt is burdened by I did something wrong, which we all have. Shame is I am wrong. There's something wrong with me. When we feel I'm complete, we have less of those burdens of our past. I matter, that you're chosen, you're honored, you're part of this community, this group, this team, you're included. You don't have to fight for it, you're already in. I make everybody in this world is doing something that you feel impactful, you feel productive. The second individual that remember the man who said that I'm about being laid off, he was struggling with I matter and I make. He was basically said, I might be out of job and the job I love, I'm not doing it here and I'm about to be laid off anyway. The next need of I am. This is about having our voice, our conviction, our belief heard and honored. And the final one is that are you living a purposeful life or are you meandering, sleepwalking through life? So once we know these needs, honor them, claim them in our life, you literally will see depression dissipate. And people have called me and says, Ardeshir, I'm not depressed. I'm pissed. I don't want to live like that anymore. So what I have here, and feel free to take a screenshot of this, and I will send it to you. If you want to send me your email, I will send you this document. These are questions based upon those 4 areas that we use to mask or basically go for a detour of our life. I invite you to pick any of these questions. There are 8 of them, just one. For the next few days, just focus on that to bring some depth, some reflection, and some shift in your life. These questions, I use them with my clients all the time. They love them. They get started with these questions, but this move us further. I want to end with another quote by a book by Johann Hari, the wonderful journalist. Highly recommend this book. It's about depression and anxiety are signals. That's what this session is all about, not illnesses. They are telling us that our needs are not being met. So if you're depressed, my friend, look at the needs, your needs, what's being met, and what's been waiting for you to claim, to address it, and claim yourself back again. If this session was helpful to you, which I hope it is, on every 2 weeks, I'll be doing series of these live sessions. The next one is about 3 a.m. high achievers blues. That 2 o'clock in the morning, anxiety. The next one will be about silent partners in relationship. When there is depression in relationship, what does it look like? So let me stop sharing my screen and see questions too. Let's see. Any question, feel free to put any question in the chat. And I see more location joining us, but any question, anything I can clarify for you? I don't see any questions so far. Let me see. So let me ask you this: how was any reactions, anything from this session that stood out for you? What grabbed your attention? There's let's see. Julia, thank you so much. That she said that there are no clarification, but there's so much gratitude for your work. So important to many, in my opinion. Thank you. That's why I'm doing this work. And for those of you, I don't you know this about me, that over the years I went to seven psychiatrists, seven psychologists, and psychiatrists when I was working through my own depression. And I wish these messages 10, 15, 20 years ago, somebody was sharing that with me. So thank you. And if this is helpful for you, share it with the others. Thank you. That was excellent. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. Use this information in your own life. Share it with others. When I tell folks that depression is not about an illness, depression is about the life that hasn't been lived fully yet. Depression is data and is about claiming what has been yours, but for a number of reasons, you've gone off track. Depression is a wake-up call. If this is helpful for you, go there. And let's see, Hafsana said that 40s are unique for me about depression. Yes, thank you. And use it, if this is helpful. And I do it all the time, and I invite you, those 40s, take a look at your own life. How do you use those 4 ways of detours versus facing our truth, versus facing our needs? Explore that. And Lucia said that what's important, family. Actually, this is a great question. Let me put it here. Lucia's question to do. What is the most important thing a family can do for a loved one with a sign of depression? Great, great question. And when people are depressed, there are several things going on. First, they don't want to be told they're depressed, that there's something wrong with them. They don't want to be told, hey, go see a therapist. When people are depressed, a lot of time they don't know it. They're overwhelmed with emotions that they're complicated. What they need, going to those emotional rights, they want a sense that you can talk with somebody in your family without advice, without recommendation, and without judgment, and lots of attention at the time. There's a statement by one of my mentors, Peter Levine, which is one of the leading psychologists, and he said that the way we heal is that we tell our story of pain, of a struggle, and all the good and the bad and ugly. And the other person, with respect, with attention, hears that. That's how healing starts. It's very hard to do in a family. We always have advice because they care. We care. The way to turn it around, to be of listening to a loved one. Tell me about you. What is going on? How is your life going? Do you like this school? What do you like about the school? And going to those 4 questions at the end that I showed you in a gentle way, asking them, what is it about the school you wish you could change? Bringing back people, your loved one, to themselves and their choices that they can have, and therefore them to feel their emotions. Hope this was helpful, Lucia. Other questions? So we are at the top of the hour, and I don't see further questions. Couple things. First, you have my LinkedIn. Write me. Please let me know how you like the session. What is one takeaway you had from this session? Also, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the private DM and ask me anything. I am an open source. Doing this work is my obsession and my responsibility. And if this is helpful, let me know and share the information with others. And I look forward to see you in upcoming weeks for additional sessions. Thank you so much. And this session will be on the LinkedIn, and feel free to share it with others as you go forward. Thanks again. Best of everything to you. Take care. Bye-bye.